This episode originally aired on January 13th, 2023 on the Unethical Patreon. Our client today was the hilarious and friend of the show, Bree Allen. Bree is also the one who started calling you Mr. Mackey.
I started sewing that one together. Yeah. Does it feel better or worse that it doesn't bother me at all anymore now?
Can you solve the murder of Amber Hagerman?
Oh, hey, Bree. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in like 6 months, and this is how you treat. You just walk in, like demand fucking us solving something.
Well, that's how it rolls, right? You guys just do what I tell you to fucking do, isn't it?
Guess so. As long as you have, what are you, Celeste right now? Coming here.
You want money,
barking
don't you?
orders? Yes. Do you have money? Let's see the money.
I've got doubloons.
God damn it. Those are good.
Richard, you acted like you eat doubloons when she said it. Is that where all of our doubloons have been going?
It's one of his party tricks.
Well, they come
I've seen
out.
it.
They come out after and they go down the toilet.
I know, we established you go in between my legs while I'm already on the toilet, so I see them.
I don't know what the word for that is, but we got to think of that. It's called getting RJ'd.
Getting let's workshop it
Okay.
before
No, that's perfect.
we
Yeah,
stick with
yeah.
that one.
I get RJ weekly.
Oh, how so? Please explain.
It's in the word. It's in the word.
Why? I'm sorry. Why? How do you get RJ'd when it's happening to me?
Exactly.
Well, globally.
Every time I listen to the podcast, I get RJ'd.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we could definitely solve this Amber Hagerman business. I've been researching it for months. I know everything about it. So
Fantastic.
you could stick around and help us solve it. You know, that's what we'd like to do around here.
Well, you're lucky my schedule is clear.
Solve your own case. 25% off.
Hey, I like a good deal.
This is like one of those Black Friday deals where it was like never
Fucking
like
racist.
the same price. You just put minus 25% on it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what our price is.
Good business model.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
I'm sorry, but just the sound of your voice alone right now is killing me on the inside. I'm dying. The fact that your mouth is moving and like this is live, and I'm like, he's here with me. Okay.
It does bother
Cool.
you. I know it bothers you because when I said it, I saw the disdain just wipe over your face as you pretended it didn't. It was great. And feel free to tell Bree to fuck off. Don't worry, she'll be happy.
Oh,
She's fine.
On a regular basis, yeah.
She's fine.
This is fantastic.
Somehow it feels like the ultimate power move is to not acknowledge that she's here.
Most people try to do that, but I'm kind of, explode into a room.
I think you can you mute individual participants?
I
Only
most
if you're
certainly
lucky.
can, but I won't.
I've never been in a room with this many dicks.
That's a lie.
Believe that.
Yeah, none of us believe that. You have 4 kids, Bree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Giveaway.
she's only been in rooms with 3 or 4 plus dicks. Like that's
Oh,
what it is.
yeah, it's so few dicks.
this
Yeah.
low. Yeah. No.
So this episode is going to come out on January 13th on Patreon, and that's actually like I was a coincidence for this entire episode because the bad thing happens on that day 27 years ago specifically. So I gotta mention that now so I remember when it comes up. I say that's exactly 27 years ago.
That's cute and fun.
Yeah, it's one of those like, is it really fun though? It's kind of sad. This is a very sad episode. I challenge all of us to make this funny because I don't know if it is.
Careful what you wish for.
I put it this way. What I'm saying, RJ, is go hard. I don't mind.
I didn't need your consent.
You never have before.
What I'm saying is do it, please.
Done.
Thank you. It's about an unsolved kidnapping and murder of a 9-year-old girl named Amber Hagerman.
Is that where Amber Alert comes from?
That is where the Amber Alert comes from. And it also brings the National Sex Offender Registry in the States as well. So thank
Okay.
you, I guess.
You're welcome.
Amber Renee Hagerman was born on November 25th, 1986, to parents Richard Hagerman and Donna Whitson. They lived, I guess. I don't know if they still live there. I think they do. In Arlington, Texas, which is actually kind of a big place. I thought it was smaller than what it was, but it's 390 some million people. So, or not million, thousand people. So 390 some million people. That's fucking huge. It's the biggest city in the world.
Yeah. Well, Texas is its own fucking country. Like
Yeah, it's big.
it's massive. Yeah, this girl looks like she's from Texas.
Oh, you're actually doing fucking research. God damn it. I just wanted to drink.
No,
a
I
drink.
just
you don't have to.
immediately Google when Richard finally tells us what it is.
I kind of like to not tell them because it's more fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, it helps my juices flow when I'm
Okay. Now we're talking.
not my pedophile juices. Just-
She looks like a girl
You
from
save
Texas.
those for later, eh?
You
Yeah.
said that properly. You didn't say it weird enough. You didn't say it like, that looks like a girl from Texas.
Do you think pedophiles refer to their erections as Amber Alerts? Has that been done before? I feel like that bit's been done before. Someone's done that.
Has it been done here? I tried to look up, like I usually look up like who's from Arlington, and not too many people, famous people, are actually from Arlington. Our boy Joe Exotic is from Arlington, so that's who I got.
Fucking right.
Our boy Joe.
Yes.
Are we still on Team Joe? Fuck Carol
Always.
Baskin.
Always have been, always will be.
I'm bored of him, but if he does something violent or insane to become relevant again, yes, I will be.
If he broke out of prison, would you be watching again?
100%.
Yeah, but it would have to be like horrible. Like he'd have to like lose an arm doing it or something. It's got to be like Joe Exotic-y.
Where he gets a prison shank and he's videotaping himself shanking pictures of Carol Baskin. I would watch that. Like him in prison. Come on. I bet you if they filmed him in prison, it would be awesome.
Without question. They should have been doing that fucking from the get-go. There should have never been a Tiger King 2. There should have never been whatever dumb movie they're making. It should have just been the Joe Exotic reality show. Like Joe gets Lucky Charms from the commissary. Like I would watch that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. And just like the mindless conversation he's annoying everybody with, trying to get these. I would watch that. I would definitely. These remind me of tigers. Oh fuck! Everything reminds you of tigers, Joe. They're lucky. Like I had 2 tigers named Lucky. I sold them for their pelts.
What if he's like, because he's just like, well, I'm so good with caged animals that I've actually trained all the prisoners. He's just like an army of prisoners that
They just redo Tiger King the first season, but just instead of animals, it's prison people, and he just redoes all the scenes. Like when he's in the cage with the one that like bites him back, it's just that scene again, but just like a big black guy just fucking him up.
hell yeah. He's just like doing like playful wrestling and getting his ear bit off. It's like he's feeling frisky tonight.
I'm never gonna financially recover from this. Just a broken cigarette pack.
Yeah.
Anyways, when Richard and Donna had Amber, Richard was very much older than Donna. Like he was like 35, I think, or something. And she was 19. So it was one of those weird relationships.
I like how another dick's involved.
Yeah, there's actually a couple dicks in this story.
Oh, fantastic.
We're getting to Bree numbers.
Speaking my language, buddy.
Yeah, we're at 4 dicks so far.
Nice.
Amber is not their only child. In 1990, her and Richard, or Donna and Richard, have another child, Richard Jr., who went by the name Ricky.
Dick Jr.
Yeah, they don't call him Richard Jr., they just keep calling him Ricky, which I'm just guessing he's an RJ, because I don't think kids are named Ricky. Like, imagine you just named your son Ricky instead of like Richard. That's fucking funny to me.
Yeah, I've seen people do that though. That's some top S tier white trash shit though. Like name kids their nickname.
I know a female named Ricky.
Yeah, that's very white trash too. That's actually exceptionally white trash. You got so like
I'll let her know.
Their only name is the nickname, and it's a male name, and it's a girl. That's a meth habit. That's what that is.
So should I say now, Richard? My daughters are Andy and Stevie. You're welcome.
Yeah, that fucking.
If
just,
the twins were girls, it would have been Ricky and Charlie.
they're gonna come right out of high school onto a pole.
Yes. At least they'll be making good money.
Little Ricky running around too. He exists. Amber and Ricky had like a very close relationship. She was like his little second mom. You know, it's a little weird. There's video of it. We'll show some Maybe I won't show any of the Ricky videos, but just trust me. Put it this way. Me and my brother were not like that as kids. We fought with each other. My kids fight with each other. These two little kids love each other. It's weird. They should have fought. They should have been fighting more.
Something's wrong.
Well, okay, but was that like described after the fact? Because no one's gonna be like, her brother fucking hated her.
Maybe it was her brother hated fucking her, and that was abnormal in Texas then, because they're incestuous.
After Ricky was born, Donna and Richard, their relationship soured. And that's what it says in the documentary that I'll talk about a lot in this, that their relationship soured. But then you look more deep into it, it says that he was abusive. I don't know what abusive means. Like, I don't know if that means like he used to yell at her or if he beat the shit out of her, but she ends up leaving him and she moves into a women's shelter. This is 1991, I believe, or 92. She doesn't stay there long. She gets her own apartment a couple months later. Like I said, Arlington has a population of 395,000 now. But in the 90s, it was a little bit less. Still a pretty big place. But it was good because when she moved out to her apartment, she moved to a place that was close to her parents' house, which is about 10 minutes away from there. Her parents' names are Glenda and Jimmy Whitman. And I know from having kids, and Bree knows this, that having your parents live 10 minutes away from you is amazing when you have children, especially if you're a single mom like that. It's very helpful.
During my single mom stages, it was very, very helpful. Especially the fact that I could move into the basement. Yeah. That helped too.
So having her parents close by was good for her. Donna dropped out of school in grade 7, in the 7th grade, or whatever Americans say. We say grade 7. You guys say 7th grade, right? America?
Yeah, it sounds like our 7th grade is better than your grade 7.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a way more satisfying way to speak.
But Donna dropped out in grade 7. And without any type of education, not even a high school diploma, it was hard for Donna to get a job that she could just afford life with kids. So like I said, having her parents close by was really helpful. She was on welfare and she scraped by the best she could. Donna went back to school eventually. She earned a degree. She volunteered at a local welfare office. And you see in like the documentary what her job was. It was like in the 90s, like early 90s. And she like just had a big bunch of stacks of paper that would like move quickly from like a stacking machine. She just stamped. Wow. The inefficiencies of before computers, like literally just stamping a stamp for 8 hours straight.
Who the fuck volunteers at the welfare office?
Somebody who wants to make sure their welfare check comes.
She's stamping her own fucking welfare check signatures.
That's very funny.
She eventually got into an on-the-job training program for medical assistant. She's trying to get off welfare. So for 8 weeks during the fall of 1995, Donna and her family were followed around by a camera crew from WFAA 8, a Dallas news channel, who were filming a documentary called From Welfare to Work. I think the way I understand it, it was like episodic. So like they'd follow a family around for 8 weeks and then do an episode on each of them sporadically. It wasn't just specifically solely about her. They wanted to chronicle people who pulled themselves up from their bootstraps and got off welfare. So Donna and her family were chosen to be one of the subjects. The crew from WFAA basically lived with Donna and her family for 8 weeks straight. So that's a pretty long time to be around. And the footage is out there. The reporter's name was Pam Curry, and her cameramen were Paul Pariseau and John Doty. Those were the three with her most of the time. They shadowed her in her everyday life, and they got so much footage of Donna and her kids and some very personal moments. This is why I'm saying there's footage of the two kids hanging out on camera.
Liking each other.
Yeah.
Weird.
It is weird. The crew and family got close over those 8 weeks and became very comfortable with each other. They get sad moments of Donna explaining how hard it is to get by on welfare. You get motivational moments where you see Donna volunteering at the welfare office. You get your hope dash when Donna's car breaks down while she's trying to get to her first day of her medical assistant training. To get her hope back when you see Donna make it to her first training day at the nick of time. They got a lot of things. They would have made a good episode. You get to see Amber's birthday party, her 9th birthday party. Seeing her being elated when she gets her birthday presents, which was like a sheet, like a Pocahontas sheet. And she's like so pumped about it, but her mom doesn't have lots of money. So just before Christmas 1995, the WFAA crew wraps up filming of the documentary and they head on over. This episode has a happy ending where Donna seems to be turning her life around for her kids because she starts that medical training thing. So the episode's to air not long after, mid-January in 1996. Christmas 1995, 9-year-old Amber and 5-year-old Ricky both get bicycles. Amber's was a cute pink one, and as soon as she saw it, it became her most prized possession. I think Donna's parents bought the kids the bikes because that's where the bikes were kept, at her parents' house. So if the kids wanted to go visit grandma and grandpa, they would be able to play with their bikes. So probably be a way to get the kids over there more often. And they're probably there all the time anyway with Donna working. So probably the best place for it. So for the next couple of weeks, kids are always at grandma and grandpa's. And on January 13th, 1996 was one of those days. It was a beautiful Saturday, and Donna wanted to take advantage of the nice day. So she took the little ones to Burger King for lunch. And after that, the plan was to go ahead to her parents' house so the kids could see their grandparents, but more importantly, play with their bikes. And they get there around 3 p.m. and all the kids wanted to do was play with their bikes. I've got kids. I remember when my kids were that old, if they had something at grandma and grandpa's house, they'd be like, "Hi, grandma. Hi, grandpa. Can I play with the thing?" So that's what they did. Basically, they got, "Hi, grandma. Hi, grandpa. Where's the bikes?"
Nice. You're so good to your parents.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, oh yeah, it's great. They live so close. They're just fucking free anytime babysitters. I just buy shit and leave it at their house so the kids can pretend to be excited to go over there. I love my mom and dad.
They bought it for themselves so the kids would go over there.
Oh, so they have to bribe them just to be able to see them
Yeah.
when you're not just dumping them on them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Pretty much. Ricky and Amber get out of the car, basically say hi to their grandparents, and immediately want to go ride the bike. The two kids love taking bike rides together, and since they didn't have their bikes all the time, it was their main focus when arriving at the grandparents' house. So Donna tells them, yes, you can go on your bikes, no problem, but don't go too far. You can go up around the block once, make sure to stay together. Come right back. The kids agree, but Amber decides to bend the rules and go a bit further than just around the block. This would be the last time Donna would ever see her kid alive.
Someone should have alerted Amber that was a poor decision.
She's 9. A couple blocks up from their grandmother's house. I think it's I didn't look up the fucking conversion. I should have. It's a 2 or 3/10 of a mile. They kept saying that. I was like, what the fuck is 3/10 of a mile? Anyways, 3/10 of a mile away. There was an abandoned Winn-Dixie grocery store, and it had a big parking lot, and it had like a ramp in the back of it, like an old loading dock ramp. It was their like cool ramp. Neighborhood kids would go there and like do bike tricks off the ramp, I guess. So being 9 and immature, Amber tells Ricky that they're going to go to that spot for a bit. They went up and down the ramp a few times, and Ricky got a bit scared of getting in trouble, so he turned around to go back to grandma and grandpa's. Amber didn't want to leave just yet, so she says, "Go back without me." This would be the last time Ricky would see his older sister alive. There's fucking 2 rules. I'm just going to say this. This is typical children, by the way. Fucking 2 rules. They broke both of them. Stay together. Don't go far. They broke both of them quickly.
Yeah, for all of our audience under 18, this is a good learning lesson not to ever do that. since I know we have a lot of listeners in early pre-K.
Well, it's a fucking dead giveaway when one kid comes back and the other one doesn't. Well, now the other kid's for sure in shit. Like, there's no, you're shit. Sorry. Your brother came back without you? Oh, well.
I guarantee Ricky, when he went back to his grandparents, if my kids are any indication what happened, he ratted her out immediately.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he ran right to mom and dad and grandma and grandpa like, she didn't want to come back and she went too far. Amber's not
I told her not to.
Exactly. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. He was probably pumped to do it, right?
Wow, you
yeah.
kids suck.
How many kids you hang out with, RJ?
Me? Lots. I'm the coolest kid on the playground. That's why I don't do shit like that. I never have.
That's why he's not allowed within 100 feet of a playground now.
You know, that's what happens. I step out there, and that's why they put the Amber Alert out, because it's like, hey, some shit's about to go down. This guy's so fucking cool. You're not going to be able to handle it.
Better go to the park where that Amber Alert went off.
Yeah,
RJ's there.
dude. Yeah. Oh, fuck. You just know you're going to see some cool shit. I'm going to, like, go super high on the swing. I'm going to go down the slide head first. Fucking name it, pal.
I'm going to do magic. I'm going to make, like, something disappear.
No, magic's lame. We don't do any magic.
That's true. Okay.
Don't say
Well, that's
that.
why I'm not the cool kid at the park. I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What were you saying, Rick? Sorry, I cut you off. RJ's assuming there's kids that aren't little selfish bricks. So I was just wondering how many kids you hung out with.
I didn't say nothing about being selfish is how I got to be the coolest kid, man. All right? I'm talking about being weak and spineless and you know, making the cardinal kid sin, tattletelling.
When on your brother or sister? Come on. You never had, did you have age group close to you, siblings? Or they're all super far away, right, RJ?
No, my sister's like 3 years younger than me.
And you guys are like super cool, never ratted on her once, or she never tattletaled on you? That's horseshit.
Look, I'm saying no, we're not cool.
Okay.
She tattled on me for shit I didn't even do. Okay.
That's the younger brother.
But no one said she was the coolest kid. All right. They don't set out Amber Alerts about her at the playground. All right.
All right, Rick, what were you saying? Sorry.
So do we know what changed in 1996 that all of a sudden they gave a shit about children and decided, oh, we're gonna, create a system to track them? Because there's no way that she was the first one to be.
Put it this way. I will say the police did a fucking phenomenal job on this, but we'll talk about it in a bit. Honestly, I
doubt.
Usually I'm not a police apologist. This year they were on it pretty much right away. So Ricky heads back home. So his parents tell Ricky, go get your sister, tell her to come back. You can't leave her like that. So they send the 5-year-old back, which I find like, Jesus Christ. He gets back there. He doesn't know where his sister is. Can't see her. He's probably a little confused. I don't know if he's worried at this point because he is only 5. Like I know later in life he says he was really confused at the time, and I know a little bit after all this stuff happens he acts out and stuff. So I know he had affected him, but I don't know if at this point he even understands he should be worried.
Nah, he gets it. He's just embarrassed how uncool he is. Spineless.
Yeah. So he tells
little bitch.
He gets back again and he goes, I don't know where Amber is, Grandpa, Mom. I have no fucking clue. He doesn't say fucking, probably. Maybe he does. No, he's not cool.
Probably.
No, he's not cool.
Not
He's not
cool. No, no.
He's
all like, I just lost my first teeth.
So yeah, he doesn't know where Amber is. So Grandpa Jimmy gets in his truck and heads to the parking lot looking for Amber. When he gets to the parking lot, he doesn't find Amber, but he does find a police car waiting there. So Jimmy approaches the officer to ask him if he'd seen a little girl on a bicycle, pink bicycle. The officer tells Jimmy that he's actually there responding to a call, 911 call that was just placed minutes ago regarding a possible child abduction. Then the officer shows Jimmy a cute little pink bike, and Jimmy confirms that was Amber's prized possession. The Winn-Dixie parking lot had a few other stores located around it. There's a window tinting place that was visible to where that was, and there was also a laundromat.
Okay. No, now I'll say something, because I was just waiting to see what other details you had. Yeah, that sounds like the most violent place you could possibly be.
Yeah.
A closed down Winn-Dixie supermarket parking lot with a window tinting place and a laundromat nearby.
Yeah.
But don't worry, now it has the Puff Monkey Smoke Shop.
So much better, because there's no statutory rapists going into vape shops. Excuse me, working and operating them.
Owner operator.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't give smokes to kids, but you can give them vapes. Behind the Winn-Dixie parking lot,
Sharing is caring.
in the other direction, there's a bunch of houses, and they have houses that face the parking lot, like windows that face the parking lot. And in one of these houses, a guy named Jimmy Kevil. He's a 78-year-old retired machinist. 2 Jimmys in this episode is going to get confusing. Jimmy the grandpa and Jimmy this guy. So I'm calling this guy Kevil.
Why not just Grandpa Jimmy?
We can do Grandpa and Jimmy. That works too.
Grandpa Jimmy. Call the guy Kevil Grandpa Jimmy, and then call the other guy Kevil.
Okay. So Grandpa Jimmy and Kevil. We could do that.
Yeah. Call the Grandpa Kevil, and then Kevil Grandpa Jimmy.
No, that'll get real. You're already confusing me now just thinking about what you just said.
Yeah. No. It's easy. It's easy.
Anyways, Kevil, not the grandpa. Now you're fucking confused the whole thing.
you knew what I was gonna say before I even said it.
Kevil was like, I guess, working on his car in his garage. He was the one who called 911. He noticed a young girl on a pink bicycle riding up and down the ramp, and he thought, what a cute little girl, doesn't have a care in the world. And then around 3:05, he notices a black pickup drive into the parking lot and park at the end of the ramp. Then he notices the driver of the pickup get out of the vehicle, leaving the driver's side door open. The driver of the truck then runs up behind Amber while she's riding her bike, grabs her from underneath the arms, lifting her right off the bike. The bike falls beneath. Sorry.
Who saw this?
Jimmy Kevil, you fucking asshole.
No. I didn't realize. I got confused. I thought we were like spinning a theory now. I
No.
got it though. Her grandfather saw this happen.
Not the grandpa.
I'm actually a little lost, but I'll figure it out along the way.
What do you mean you're
You're
lost?
CIA. You
I'm not sure which is which. I don't know which one is the grandpa. Was the grandpa the witness, the guy that saw this?
No,
Or
there's just a guy who lives in the fucking house.
So who is Grandpa Kevil?
I hate you so much. Nobody. I hate RJ so much.
There's
right
no
now.
wait. So there's no Grandpa Kevil?
No, there's no Grandpa Kevil.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm back. I got it.
Okay.
Grandpa.
Take another sip of whiskey and off we go.
There's a Grandpa Jimmy.
Yes, there's a Grandpa Jimmy.
Yeah, it's Grandpa Jimmy Kevil.
Okay, so Kevil and Grandpa Jimmy. Got it. Kevil
Is not Grandpa Jimmy. Kevil is not Grandpa Jimmy.
No, I didn't say. I said there's Kevil and Grandpa Jimmy.
Thank you. Yes.
That's what I said. Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so happy right now.
He's screaming at me when I'm trying to.
Not
agree
you.
with him.
I'm
Then
screaming
getting-
at this asshole.
Then I'm getting really confused.
All right. So the driver of the truck runs up to Amber from behind while she's riding her bike, grab her from under her arms, lift her right off the bike. The bike falls beneath her, and he carries her back to the truck and shoved her into the driver's side door of the truck. He said that Amber was kicking and screaming as he was doing this. Then the driver got back into his truck and drove off. Kevil describes the driver as 20 to 30 years old with black hair, under 6 feet tall with a medium build, could be white or Hispanic. You know this guy was white, Kevil, and he's 78 years old in the 90s. He was definitely a white guy, but the 78-year-old guy just threw Hispanic in there because.
Kevil was 78?
Oh,
I don't know if the guy was being racist or if the guy was kind of just covering all of his bases, because there's predominantly Mexican heritage in Arlington, Texas, and Texas as a whole. I mean, especially if you look at all of the shops
agree.
around the area, it's like just a cultural thing.
I'm just saying 70-year-old guy just throwing Hispanic in there probably was just him hoping it was a Hispanic guy or assuming it was a Hispanic guy, but it could have been. That's a part of this after anyway, so it could be for sure. The truck was described as a black full-size pickup from either the 80s or 90s with no damage that Kevil can notice. A single cab with a rear window which didn't look like it could be opened in any way. Didn't have those like sliding windows. Kevil thinks the truck could have been a Ford, but the authorities can't be sure, except it was an American-made pickup because you hear that American-made all the time. But Kevil did say it was a Ford. He said it was bigger than like the smaller trucks, like a Ranger, but it wasn't like a huge F350 or anything like that. So
Yeah, he made a point of being like, but not as big as my truck.
yeah, exactly.
Pretty big, but
I wouldn't buy it, but it's a good one. Anyways, an F-150 or whatever is basically what he's describing. That's like a very nondescript description of a truck. It's not really helpful in Texas, I would imagine.
well, none of them need it. Oh, I thought you meant the truck isn't helpful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Kevil also says, Jimmy Kevil also said that,
Good old Jimmy Grandpa Kevil.
yes. He also said that he thought the truck was the same truck that he'd seen about 45 minutes earlier, parked near the laundromat.
Oh, that's just fucking convenient for a witness to know all of that.
Yeah.
And a Mexican at a laundromat.
Are you questioning the fact that Mexicans go to laundromats? Is that what that was?
No, I'm questioning the fact that this guy's like, not only did he see it happen, saw the truck, supposedly saw what the guy looked like, knew it was her immediately. He also was watching the truck as it was sitting there. Like, what the fuck does this guy do all day? He just sits there and stares out the window.
78-year-old man.
So he's the fucking creep.
Oh, so yes, yeah.
Just bored as fuck. This is what they do.
No, that's their whole fucking deal.
Listen, this is what I do in Whole Tire. Okay, I sit here and I watch every car that goes by, and I'm like, I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one before. Who are you? And what are you doing on my street?
That must be fun when you do that every 6 hours.
It is.
So yeah, he said that maybe using the laundromat or maybe just sitting there waiting to pick up a kid in that popular place where the kids hang out. That's another, like, maybe that's why that guy was there for 45 minutes before. After the abduction, as the truck was exiting the parking lot, Kevil then saw the truck hesitate for a few minutes, like as if he was like, shut the fuck up or I'll kill you or something like that. He sit at the exit to the parking lot without actually going anywhere. And then he headed west towards downtown Arlington. That's when Kevil rushes back to his house, calls 911 to report what he thinks was a kidnapping. The 911 call is placed at 3:18 p.m., just minutes after Ricky left after finding his sister missing. The kids left their grandparents at like 3:10, so it only took 8 minutes from leaving their parents' view to the girl going missing. That's terrifying. Midday, terrifying.
Okay, but let's be real here. The amount of times I've had to drag my children out of whatever the hell circumstance that they've got themselves into, and they've been kicking and screaming and everything, I should have had the police called on me probably over a dozen times for child abduction.
That fair. That
if
guy.
That's the criteria that warrant.
Put it this way: I don't think that guy would have called 911. Well, maybe he would have. I don't think that guy would have called 911 had he not seen that truck sitting there for 45 minutes before those kids showed up.
Right.
You know, and plus the guy ran up, like, you're with the kids the whole time, Bree. This guy drove up behind them, opened up a truck door, grabbed her, and then chucked her in, left the bike there. It's a little bit of a different situation. It's a little scary.
Well, that's how I pick up my nieces from school. It's very quick and efficient.
Get in the fucking truck.
Yeah. No, you don't make any noise. You just come in, and then you want them to be quiet, so you wrap your hand around their mouth from behind them because they're gonna be startled by your efficiency.
You're cool and efficient. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
You don't want them screaming out, "God, this is so fast!" and "Well done."
I feel like that sentence is yelled at you often by children. You're the cool guy. The investigation into the kidnapping of Amber began immediately. 8 minutes in, the Arlington police got the Texas Rangers and the FBI involved. They were working 24 hours a day to find this girl from 3:18 on. The Dallas Police Department got their sex crimes unit involved within the first 12 hours, and they sent over all the information they had about child sex offenders in the area.
Imagine being the parents and finding that out within 12 hours of your kid missing. Like, that is gonna be
It's fucked up, dude.
Just wait, why them?
Dude, I don't even I try to picture this, and I can't even fathom how fucked you'd be. Like, this is the 90s too. There's no internet. So somebody had that in file folders couriered over. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much to it. It's just so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Like, I don't know if they made copies. How long did they have to wait? Did they just give the original files, or did they have them on hand?
They probably faxed it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I feel like it's faster to just drive a big stack of files than sit on a fax machine though.
Yeah, but it's Texas, so the smallest car is like a semi that gets 5 miles to the gallon.
That's true.
It's just more efficient, you know.
You're all about efficiency today. I like it.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Look, you don't be the coolest kid on the playground without finding the path of least resistance to get there. And which puts up less resistance than children.
Listen, I just want to say I'm starting to smell a conspiracy here, because Amber Alerts didn't exist until this happened, and then all of a sudden AT&T comes in and puts up a stadium less than a mile away from where this happened for the Cowboys. Nah, something doesn't smell right here.
The Cowboys always played in Arlington, though.
But they didn't have the stadium there until 2009.
For the next 3 days, police canvassed all the houses in the area, combed over all the child sex offender files that the Dallas police sent over, and boloed the black truck. Posters were made, photos of Amber were given to local media outlets, anything they could do to find this girl. Amber's family and friends spent hours postering the city, handing out flyers, looking for potential witnesses. The 4'7", 80-pound girl with red hair could be found nowhere. But the day she went missing, her hair was up in a ponytail. She was wearing a light gray t-shirt with a colorful handprints on it, pink pants, and brown suede shoes. Amber and her family went on TV that night, the first night, to ask for any witnesses to come forward and to plead to the kidnapper to bring their daughter back. Her father, Richard, was especially shook because this wasn't the first time a child in his life was kidnapped.
What?
In 1991, Richard's 2-day-old granddaughter was kidnapped from the hospital by a woman claiming to be the hospital photographer. The woman was caught and the baby returned within 11 hours. But man, oh fucking man, as if that guy had 2 kidnappings.
Fuck.
That's
Cool.
makes him look suspicious to me. That's all.
Oh yeah.
He dresses up as a lady, not photographer, to steal his own granddaughter for 11 hours.
The first time was a real kidnapping, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like doing heroin, you know? He just like, oh, that energy. So that he had to kidnap someone else to have that feeling again, you know?
That fucking guy, the Stephen Avery method.
Yeah. There's a shit ton of police work going on. These cops are actually doing a great job. They have like an entire task force of 15 people in like 3 different agencies. After all the police work and getting information about Amber, within a few days, everyone knew about the little girl getting snatched off her pink bike while kicking and screaming. I don't know if the story went national at this point yet, but it was definitely in the Arlington, Fort Worth, Texas area. Less than a week after the abduction was when the From Welfare to Work episode featuring Donna and her family was supposed to air. So when the producers heard about Amber's abduction, WFAA decided to postpone the episode until there was some advancement in the case. Let's just say the episode never aired. WFAA did, however, let any other media outlet use the footage to help spread the word about Amber's disappearance. So that actually, I think that's when this story went national, because having a little picture of a little girl is one thing, but having like a video of a little girl blowing out her candles on her 9th birthday saying this girl went missing 2 months after her birthday is a lot more heart-wrenching.
Get you right in the boo-boo.
That would be
Yeah.
such fucking like ballsy production though, to like just like put it in as a little blurb at the end of the episode. Like that, like just be like, oh yeah, Amber, months after this episode was filmed, Amber went missing and there are no leads.
I think it'd be funnier if it did the opposite. They gave all the footage, but they went like, see this footage and more next week on From Welfare to Work featuring Donna's family. They're just like trying to pump the episode that's coming out. Oh God. Yeah, I think that's when the case went national, when they started handing out.
I'm sorry, just From Welfare to Work is the name of the show.
Yeah.
From Welfare to Work is the name of the reality.
They just really wanted to put it out there.
We live in a dystopia, folks. It's
yeah.
All of the jokes that you see in the movies and TV that you watch are real.
Yeah, it's sad. Donna, Richard, Jimmy, and Glenda start to use the media to get the word out as well. Like I said earlier, they did many interviews in the first few days. Within the first day of Amber going missing, the family invited the WFAA film crew back to the house to film everything as it unfolded. Pam Curry and crew got quite close with Donna over that 8 weeks, like I said, and she was happy to try and help Donna spread the word of Amber being missing. So they filmed the whole family within hours of Amber going missing. They filmed like the family watching the news, waiting by the phone, hoping to hear more answers. Wow. I see a lot of criticism for like, come back here, film us now that we're sad. I don't know if Pam Curry reached out to them. Like, I don't know if it was which side of it was. Seems a little ghoulish to me anyway, but still kind of genius at the same time, you know?
It's got two sides to it, right? There's
Yeah.
the side where you're like, you kind of get the promotion. So it's like, you know, you're putting your face out there more, you know, you're making a bigger deal out of it, which is awesome. But then at the other side, you're like, well, is this really the time to be filming all this shit?
They should have said that they had footage of her naked, and then whoever called the number to get it.
Oh, see, that would actually done it.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, for more sexy photos of Amber.
It's like setting up a fucking thirst trap for a goddamn.
Yeah, dude. That's what all the FBI agents do. Did I ever tell you the story about how I worked with a comic in Michigan who got fucking caught in an FBI sting?
No.
The way it worked is that the FBI agent was texting him like someone who was in the life and like had kids that they were like selling into that type of deal. Yeah. So they just like they already do that. I mean.
Wait, and he accepted and tried to buy a kid?
Oh yeah,
or what?
he reciprocated and was like, oh yeah, I'm totally down. Yeah. I'm
my
showing
God.
a legally eager willingness to do this, a convictable level of willingness.
What the
Oh
fuck?
God.
Yeah,
But
Charles Ellis. You can look him up.
I will after. Well, all of us, all of the audience. So yeah, Pam Curry's footage of Donna and her family getting them more and more time on the air was good for helping them get the attention of Arlington in the form of vigils and enormous volunteer searches. That I think that's a good thing, because if they didn't call Pam Curry, I don't think it would hit national or international like it did. So yeah, Arlington residents were even showing up en masse to city council meetings after this to demand answers to where the little Amber had been taken. and also to express their feelings that someone is still out there doing this. There's a lot of footage of that shit out there. Little girl being like, this is really hard on us. I don't want to be inside all the time. Like, Jesus Christ. The first 3 days, there were over 3,000 tips that came in, all vetted and cleared. They only had one piece of evidence, one witness, old Grandpa Jimmy. No, Jimmy Kevil.
Kevil.
That's the only piece of evidence they had.
So just like a side note, you know what really bothers me? I don't know why I'm on Google Maps doing this, but I was just looking at the condition of the scene of like after the years to see like what's there, and they have like, you know, like a mural and stuff like that and a statue. But and almost like every other homeowner right across the street owns a black American truck.
It's in solidarity to Amber.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
You know, Texas, dude, that's their number one hobby. Let's obfuscate investigations into finding missing persons cases. It's like high school football and then fucking up finding little girls who went missing.
This is a great
They're doing
job.
a good job.
I'm glad you're looking up the colors of the vehicles, and this will help us, I'm sure. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah. He's gonna be like, what kind of rubber was in the tire tread of the Ford?
Well, listen, how many people are just going to be sitting next to an abandoned city? Like, it wasn't even next to a park. There was a park nearby that this dude could have been scoping out. It was just scoping out this fucking random ramp. Like, it had to be someone from the area. Like, why is the dude just chilling there?
must have been someone from the area for sure. Trigger warning here, I guess.
Trigger warning.
11:41 p.m. January 17th, the call came in to Arlington police that a body had been found behind an apartment complex about 5 miles or 8 kilometers north of the Winn-Dixie parking lot where Amber had been abducted. A resident named Stuart Coker had been walking his dog at the nearby park. His dog kept running back and forth in an agitated manner near the creek that ran along the side of the complex in a little ravine behind the park. Cocker looked down towards the creek and saw something white that stuck out in the dark. At first, Cocker didn't know what he was looking at, so he got closer to investigate. As he approached, he realized what the white was. It was the pale skin of a dead body in an unnamed creek. The resident yelled for help, and other residents of the complex called 911. The police arrived on scene and found that it was the body of a little girl laying face down in the creek bed just beside the drainage culvert. The little girl was nude except for a single sock on her right foot. Other than that, there wasn't really lots of evidence at the scene. There'd been a few considerable storms the few days that Amber was missing, and that would have filled that little creek with water. That could have done a few things. First thing it would have done was most likely moved her downstream to where the culvert was, and it also made any physical evidence at the scene non-existent. They collected the girl and surveyed the scene. They knew the search was over. They had to be sure they took fingerprints from the little girl they found at the creek, and then they had to wait.
Oh shit, she did it to herself.
It was suicide.
Yeah, it was her black truck.
Yeah. At about 1 a.m., an hour and a half after the discovery, the police had to go tell Donna and her parents they'd found a dead body of a little girl that matched the description of Amber. I don't want to ever have that fucking conversation with a police officer. That must have been fucking terrifying.
No, can you imagine what that did to her grandfather, Jimmy Kevil? Probably devastated him, dude.
How's that?
I don't care. It's just as disrespectful as what I said. What do you think I'm gonna do? Admonish you for it?
Do we know what 78-year-old Kevil did for a living prior to
Machinist.
I'm assuming retiring? He's a machinist?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's shady as fuck.
Yeah, he's Christian Bale from The Machinist. Yeah.
They didn't know if it was Amber at this point, so they had to wait till the morning to actually get the confirmation that it was Amber, which is fucking terrifying as well.
Has it been a while? She was decomposed.
It was about a day and a half. They think it was
Oh, so
24
she was
hours.
just like mutilated.
Yeah, Donna and Richard wanted to see Amber as soon as they heard that they had found her. The Tarrant County medical examiner, Dr. Kraus, I forget what his first name is, I have it further on, and the police told Donna and Richard that seeing Amber in her current state was probably not a good idea. They should probably wait to see Amber at the funeral home after they do their magic with her.
What kind of magic are they gonna do?
Put her back together.
That's fucking lame. If they can do magic, let's bring her back to life.
That's true. If you're gonna do magic, go hard. Don't do this
Yeah.
pussy magic. I got you.
Cowards.
Go big or go home.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's why funeral homes aren't the coolest kids on the playground.
Yeah, they just thought it'd be traumatizing, obviously, to see your daughter all fucked up. Richard and Donna went in anyway, but you'll see in a few seconds why the police were weary to let them. They identified Amber by using her thumbprint from her school safety card. I don't know if you guys did that as a kid. Did you guys ever put your thumbprint on like a thing for the police?
No.
I for sure did.
No.
It's a vague, fuzzy memory from being little, and the cops took fingerprints of me as a kid. Like, fuck, that seems like very shady.
Very shady.
You know what I mean? If I do anything shady as an adult, they already got them.
Were you touched also?
Mhm. All over the place. But I like that part because I got a lollipop after.
I guess they only did it in areas where it was likely you would be fucking murdered.
I live in the fucking middle of nowhere, so yeah.
Right.
Perfect place to murder kids. Yeah.
I lived off the highway, so if a transport or like a big ass truck wanted to pick me up in the 90s, they probably could have.
Off the highway, they could dump your body at home.
Exactly. Very nice of them if they did.
Yeah.
So a maintenance crew at the apartment complex said that they'd been near that culvert earlier in the day and they hadn't seen anything suspicious at that time. So that lends credence to what I said earlier, that the fast moving water from the recent rainstorms could have moved her to that location, but it also could have been just moved there recently. Another weird thing about this case, minus the single sock on her foot, the rest of Amber's clothing was never found, like ever. The medical examiner, Mark Krause, performed the autopsy and discovered that her cause of death was from 5 different lacerations on her neck. The largest was an 8-inch cut across the neck. So this guy just like slit her throat when he was done with her, I guess. I got curious about this Mark Krause guy. So I found an article from 2021 that says that Tarrant County medical examiner Mark Krause has been recently suspended from the ME's office. During an audit, it was revealed that Krause made 59 mistakes in 40 death investigations. 2 of the mistakes were described as egregious. They had to audit this guy in November 2020 because he had misidentified a bullet wound as a surgical incision, and it made the police have to exhume the body to go like re-examine it. So they're like, wait, if that guy made that mistake, how many other mistakes has he made?
Is Canada the same as America in that like your coroners are not necessarily at all medically capable and that are just guys voted into office?
No, they're not voted in, but I don't know how much.
I believe that they're doctors.
Yeah.
They're full out.
Yeah, ours are not.
Because when we had one here, like the guy showed up and I was like, oh shit, yeah. Because I thought the same thing, that it was just some dude that showed up and was, oh yeah.
To be fair to the Americans, it takes a real special kind of weirdo creep to want to pick apart the dead bodies all the time. So let them get voted in, you know? That you're choosing that.
Yeah, let them get voted in and make 800 mistakes over their career that could have defined the case one way or the other.
No, I wanted you guys to know about this guy because maybe he made some mistakes. I don't know. They're saying that he's making mistakes now, so maybe he made some mistakes back then. I'm imagining they're going to be looking into I know they are. They're looking into a bunch of his cases. It's just, are they going to look into Amber Hagerman? I don't know.
Yeah. 5 lacerations, you said, to her neck?
Yeah. I also read an article that her injuries were so severe that she was almost decapitated. She got fucking OJ'd.
Damn, dude. Maybe she was fucking like fighting hard.
See, I don't know. It's kids, man. Like at a certain point, if you're overpowered, how long are you going to fight before you just give up?
Yesterday, my niece was over and she's 4 and she's the tiniest 4-year-old you've ever seen. Like she's the size of a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And she was throwing a tantrum, so I was like, okay, we're going to have to go upstairs. And I picked her up to bring her up the stairs of my house. And holy shit, there's like a bomb that goes off inside kids' bodies. That the way she fought, it made me feel wrong. Like I was...
I guess, but you're not like a real threat. Like you weigh maybe 20 pounds more, so she's just like, I can fight him off.
Yeah, but dude, like when the last time she threw a tantrum, I got her pretty good with a right hook and it didn't put her down, but normally I can fight back pretty well.
I know what you're saying. Like kids are pretty tough, but I mean, if you know real danger versus like Uncle RJ danger, I think you might give up.
Excuse me, sir. We could have phrased that a multitude of different ways.
I phrased it the way I phrased it.
You phrased it the way you wanted to phrase it.
Yeah.
Don't push that narrative on me just because I'm the coolest kid on the playground. Jealous fuck.
Coolest, weakest kid on the playground. The decapitation part, I don't know how accurate that is. It might be an exaggeration because I didn't see the ME say that. But who knows with old Dr. Krause? Maybe it was. I don't fucking know. She could have been strangled for all I know with that numbnuts. She might not have been stabbed at all.
Well, like 5 cuts seems a little like extensive.
It's probably right. The reason I know that's probably right is because they didn't want her to go see the fucking daughter. They told her not to go see your kid. That's probably pretty gruesome, you know?
Very true. But if you're going to kill a kid at all, like, do you really need 5 cuts?
You're fucked up to begin with if you're going to steal a kid in mid broad daylight. You got some fucked up shit going on, right?
Yeah, you got to be like everyone else, steal your kids at night.
I think he needed all
Right.
5, and he got lucky with just 5. I think she was a tank. I think you guys are shitting all over poor Amber here. I think she was fucking
Just a beast of a child.
yeah. Oh yeah,
She could have been. She was a little thick, little Texan girl.
dude. She's just like, come on, Ricky, we're gonna go on down to the Winn-Dixie and we're gonna hit the ramp. And he's like, ooh, Ricky. Ooh. And she's like, see, Ricky, this is why you're a piece of shit.
Poor Ricky. He probably lived this his whole life and blames himself. That's the best part.
Exactly, dude. That survivor's guilt is well earned.
Yeah, that's the best part.
If he had half the fucking moxie of Amber, the two of them could have fucking taken that dude down, and they'd had him strung up in downtown Arlington shooting fucking BB guns at him by 6 p.m.
Get him in the teeth.
Yep.
There was no evidence that Amber had been raped, but they couldn't rule out sexual assault. I've seen articles that say she was violently sexual assaulted multiple times, so I don't fucking know. The ME said there was no evidence. Like I said, Dr. Krause.
Not very reliable source.
Yeah, there's probably lots of evidence of sexual assault. He just didn't check very well. The police did give out a lot of information, but they do say they have some trace evidence, which we'll talk about in a bit, that they haven't said what it is. It's the only holdback evidence that we know about. So it's got to be calm, but that's just my guess.
Maybe Kraus was the one who was enjoying himself once he got a hold of her.
It could be. Could be Krause.
Yeah, I got my theory lined up.
One of the most disgusting clues that Dr. Krause brought forth in the autopsy was that Amber was dead no more than 24 hours after she'd been found in the creek. So if dummy Dr. Krause is right, she suffered with this guy for like 2 days before he finally killed her.
But we know time and death is just like coin flip, and it was by a shitty corner, right?
They go by decomp, right? So like you're not going to get it within like 8 hours or whatever. You're going to get, I think 24 hours you can get, because bugs start growing inside of you and shit at a certain point. Like they can get there's some milestone.
Like flies pour out of your mouth. Do you believe in like 17th century spontaneous regeneration?
I don't know though. If they already talked about how this corner wasn't good and it was like a cold creek bed, I feel like they could have slowed down the decomp a little bit.
For sure. The other thing is that people were looking. She had zero food in her stomach, so this guy knew he was going to kill her. You know, it's premeditated, in my opinion. If you're just not going to feed her, you're going to kill her eventually. There's no evidence that she'd been tied up in any way. She'd been bound, but she did have bruises on her body, from what I understand. Like I said, there's some holdback evidence that hasn't been revealed to the public yet. All the cops say is that it's trace evidence, but won't say what it is. After hearing the autopsy results, Donna and family were devastated, obviously. Right away, the police hold a press conference and release a profile of the perpetrator. They described this crime as a crime of opportunity, and it was disorganized. The team of 15 investigators say that this man must have lived in Arlington or close to the area, very close to the area, and very familiar with Arlington. The reason for this is that when Kevil saw the man drive off from the parking lot, Kevil says that he headed west towards downtown Arlington. If you're trying to escape with a little girl, you probably don't want to go downtown where there's a lot of people. If you would have went east, you would have hit like 4 major highways and you could have disappeared to anywhere. Police also say that he must have been from Arlington or Arlington adjacent, because the creek that Amber was found in wasn't a place that you would accidentally stumble upon. You'd have to kind of know that existed to put a child down there. Like, it's not like you would just walk there. It's like in a random spot. And like, I get that. I live in a small town where there's places where you could just like, someone could never find someone. I would know where it is because I live here.
I get it. I look for spots to hide kids all the time, dude.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that.
God.
But there is places like that. I understand that, where you can't just stumble upon it. You'd have to know where it is. And it's like right in front of your face. And you'd be like, oh, as if this is here, you know? The profile also said that the murderer probably had anger control issues and also probably had a hard time keeping a job. And he may have been set off by some sort of stressor that day happening in his real life. And this made him snap and do the thing he always wanted to do, which was kidnap a little girl, which obviously makes him a sexual predator of some sort. They don't think it was his first time doing this. It would have been an escalation beyond what he'd already done in the past. And the fact that this guy kidnapped her in broad daylight, knew how to not get caught with her, and disposed her body without getting caught, and the brutality of the murder is what pointed the profile in that direction. In fact, the profile points out that he probably would do it again if he had the chance.
Okay, but how do you profile the fact that he has a hard time keeping a job with all that?
I am not John Douglas.
Well, 80% of Arlington, Texas was unemployed at that time. So they
fuck.
really just opened up the pool to anyone that lived
Oh,
there.
I just opened Google's fucking wormhole. Hey, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I just made that up. So for people who are in Arlington, Texas right now and they're offended, you guys still have jobs. You're good.
Plus, whatever. You're from Arlington, Texas. The way they do this profiling is FBI profilers like John Douglas or whatever talk to so many predators and shit like that and figured out a lot of commonalities between serial killers and predators and stuff just by what they were doing. So if you're grabbing someone in broad daylight like that, you probably have anger issues. A lot of guys that would grab someone in daylight like that would have anger issues, just like leaning off of odds, right? It's just statistics.
Okay. I was like, what form of evidence did they have that they could be like, oh, he doesn't have a job or he doesn't keep a job well?
FBI profiling is actually very fucking accurate, grossly accurate, disgusting how good they do a job. Most times. Sometimes they get it completely wrong, but a lot of the time they're pretty fucking bang on. So Amber's funeral is held on January 20th, surrounded by pink flowers while she held her little blue teddy bear. During the 2 weeks before Amber was found and after, Donna's parents' house was kind of like their headquarters for the whole tragedy. The WFAA documentary began filming again in that house before and after the body was found. Police would relay information to the family there. 2 weeks after the funeral is when Donna goes back to her apartment. And this is pretty rough part of the documentary. Richard's with her a lot, but they're not back together. I found that weird. I had to look that up. Richard's holding her hand a lot, but they're not back together. The WFAA crew went with them, and they got lots of shots of Donna sinking into a reality of Amber not being there because she hadn't been there for like 2 weeks or like 4 weeks, I guess. So they get there and it's like all Amber shit all over the place. It's pretty fucking sad. And she has like a little mini breakdown in front of the crew. Donna and Ricky kept Amber's room the same for years after the murder. Ricky started to display some behavioral problems. So he had to go through a bunch of therapy and shit because he explained to his therapist that he was acting out because he felt he was like survivor's guilt, like you said. This is a 5-year-old.
Or was he just jealous that he wasn't cute enough to be taken?
That's true. That could be it. Maybe I'll see if I can interview him. He's still around.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I won't. I'm joking. Yeah, Donna's grieving and has to deal with Ricky being problematic. The community of Arlington gets behind her in every way possible. Berry Elementary, where Amber goes to school, they rename the park after Amber. They call it Amber's Park.
Not anymore. We all know who runs that fucking park now.
The RJ's Park.
Yeah, that's right, sir.
When they go to do the unveiling of the park, I guess Donna gets word that Amber's classmates are being like really affected by the death and they're asking a lot of questions. So Donna goes to the school in the documentary and to answer questions about Amber's murder and to like comfort the kids and help them understand something they should probably not have to understand. And the kids ask some pretty fucking tough questions, but I think Donna handles them pretty well. But Donna's getting pretty shaken up. So the kids start to notice that and they like swap roles and like, you look very pretty today, Mrs. Donna, like just kind of switch roles. It's a pretty sweet part of the movie, the documentary. Donna only takes 2 weeks off after the death of her daughter and continues her studies to graduate eventually as the medical assistant. So WFAA, Pam Curry, John Doty, and Paul Paraso keep filming and get shit tons of footage. They decided to use the footage from before Amber's death and the footage from after Amber's death to make a 1 hour long documentary that played on television. It was called After Amber, and it was a huge source for today's episode. I'm not going to lie, I cried a lot during that. There's a part I was fucking bawling. It was very sad. January 13th, 1997, after Amber airs on WFAA, so 1 year exactly after, I have a 9-year-old daughter who I let play outside by herself. Scratch that. I do have a 9-year-old daughter that I used to let play outside by herself. After Amber is a super unique documentary because it lets you get to see Amber when she's alive and full of joy, but it also gets to see Donna and Amber's abduction after the abduction and eventual death. So the saddest true crime documentary I've ever seen. Fucking bad one. Amber's kidnapping and eventual murder was a huge story. I told you it eventually went international. It was good to get the word out about Amber, but it also terrified everyone. Parents in Arlington were scared of letting their kids go out on the streets. I would imagine many Nintendos were sold during that time. You are now an indoor kid.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I would oh my god. You know how grateful I'd be that Amber was dead?
To finally get a Super Nintendo?
Well, just like to be told, don't go outside anymore.
Idiot.
Yeah, so instead of wallowing in her grief, Donna decides to use her grief to try and toughen laws against child sex offenders. With all the national attention this case was getting, Donna used that to message toughening laws. So she founded the group called People Against Sex Offenders, or PASO. Amber's father, Richard, headed up the entire operation. Their goal is to pressure Texas lawmakers into making tougher laws against sex offenders, particularly the ones that target little kids. It didn't take long for PASO to get loads of supporters, but like as if that's like a no-brainer. I imagine being the guy who's like, I'm for sex offenders, so sorry, I can't help your group out. I'm not signing any petitions for you. I'm not against them. PASO helped pen what ended up being called the Amber Hagerman Child Protection Bill, which basically started the National Sex Offender Database. Donna and Richard testified in front of Congress to get this passed. Richard wearing a fucking ball cap in Congress, which I found hilarious.
That's awesome.
This is June 1996, so this isn't even like 6 months after Amber's. It's about 6 months after the murder of Amber. So they're pushing hard. They're using the media to their advantage. The bill was signed into law by Bill Clinton in October 1996, while Donna and Richard stood beside him. Then she brags in the documentary that she's like, Bill Clinton gave me this pen that he signed the document with. So like he gives her the pen. Good he didn't give her the cigar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's cool to just, you know, because your daughter was dead by sexual assault, to be honored by a sexual assaulter.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
But she got a pen.
got a pen.
She got a pen.
That's the difference.
And she got a national sex offender registry out of the deal too.
Yeah.
While Donna and Richard were focused on PASO, the Arlington community was still in fear for their kids. So Amber was also doing work to help kids elsewhere at the very same time. And Donna didn't even know it until after. So Donna Simone, a massage therapist from a nearby Fort Worth and parent, heard Amber's story. She thinks to herself that if people of Arlington heard the story right away, they would have been able on the lookout for a black truck or a little girl. They already had a national alert system for like natural disasters or nuclear threats or something like that. That time, the alerts would just like stop all TV and radio programming and alert the general public about whatever was going on. So Diana wanted the alert to be heard if there was a missing child in the area, which is kind of a no-brainer, but like no one had thought of it yet. This Diana Simone thought of it. January 19th, so this is the day before Amber's funeral, Diana called the local radio station and pitched the idea to the radio station manager. She also wrote a letter outlining her idea. That letter was also printed in the Fort Worth newspaper. Her letter basically laid out the idea where the national alert system could be used in the same way it would be used for an earthquake or hurricane or whatever after a verified 911 call was placed about a missing child. That way people would know that there was a problem right away instead of having to wait for the evening news to hear about it. By then it could be too late. So she basically invented the Amber Alert system without knowing it yet.
Wow. One woman was responsible for when your phone gets taken over for 3 seconds by something fairly annoying. Villain.
In her plan, she asked if she could call it Amber's plan. So she kind of even named it too. They went with Amber Alert. Sorry, Dinah. The radio station backed the idea and brought it to other radio stations and television stations. They, as a collective group, loved the idea and brought it to the police to figure out if this plan could be implemented, and if so, how would they go about getting something like that done. I just find it all interesting that all the media outlets even petitioned the police for this. It wasn't the opposite. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the police going to the media being like, this is what we're going to do. It was the media going to the police like, can we do this? I find that a very interesting thing to me. I don't know.
Police are stupid.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't find that interesting at all, because that's happening today. They're like, hey, not killing people indiscriminately. Can we please do this? And the cops are like, what?
But I was just thinking more on the way that it's interesting that this seems like a way to lighten the cops' load. You know what I mean? Make everybody else find the kid. Then you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, but there's a reason that all cops are just high school jocks that, like, you know, suck.
Yeah, they thought they were going to make the NHL.
It's not like it's all up there. They didn't get in there based on their smarts.
Yeah, as much as it hurts to admit, they are overburdened. I mean, their smooth brains can only handle so much information and tactile interaction with the world at once. So it's a good point. I mean, whatever we can do to
Lighten their load.
help those poor fellas.
The two criteria the radio stations and this little group set out for the initiative were that for the alarm to be set off, the missing child has to be under 17, and the police had to think that the child was under threat of violence or death. And if the 911 call fell under both those two criteria, all of the child's info would be sent to the major radio stations and television stations who agreed to be part of the program. And then the participating media outlets would then interrupt programming, give out the alert of the missing child. So basically what we have now.
What kind of info are we relaying?
Age, height, photograph, where the last seen, what they're looking for.
Their favorite snack.
Favorite snack.
Yeah, it kind of starts to sound like a dating ad, if you ask me. So, like, if the kid just ran away and then, you know, all the fucking orange dots in your neighborhood go, woo! Be on the lookout, fellas.
Oh, God. That's very scary. Ooh, there's the Amber Alert program just helping pedophiles get there first.
Yeah.
It's my turn.
Oh,
That's
wow.
gross.
And then you just see like the sex offender map just like is like a radar thing where it just keeps going like doot, doot, doot.
Oh, God.
You have the Amber Alert system and the Ricky early warning system.
Let's not call it Ricky. Let's move away from Ricky. RJ, let's do that. By 1997,
That's a different doing an RJ is a different thing.
yeah, it's shit between someone's legs. I remember now. By 1997, the Dallas Amber Plan was enacted, and the first iteration of the Amber Alert was born. It wasn't a national program yet, only being used in North Texas. In 1998 was when the first success story of the Dallas Amber Plan came to be. An 8-week-old girl named Rayleigh Bradbury was kidnapped by her babysitter in Arlington, and the plan worked like a charm. The babysitter was caught within 90 minutes of the Amber Alert being sent over the airways, or the alert, I guess. It's not Amber Alert yet, proving that the Dallas Amber Plan was worthwhile doing. After seeing the success, the Dallas Amber Plan was brought to the national level, backed by John Walsh and his NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. That's America's Most Wanted John Walsh, whose kid was also kidnapped and murdered a couple of years prior to this. I think it was about 10 years, actually. They found his fucking skull.
I mean, like, if you're gonna have like a dead kid, what a dope souvenir to have.
Yeah, and if anything, that's what I would want.
Yeah. You just put it on like top of like a staff or something, and then like, show it to people. when
Look,
they
I
come
never
over.
dropped him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been an advocate for helping improve law enforcement finding missing children. So he thought the idea was great. He brought it to the national attention. After it spread nationally through Mr. Walsh and the NCMEC, it was renamed the Amber Alert System, and now it's been adopted by many countries around the world. 27 different countries, actually. And most of these countries work together when a missing child's thought to cross over the border. So there's a lot of helping each other. Like if a kid near the Canadian border goes into America, they'll talk to each other and help each other out. The Amber and Amber Alert is actually a backronym. This is something I just learned about, a backronym. You know what a backronym is?
Yeah, I didn't know it was one of those though.
Yeah, backronym, for people who don't know, it's when you make an acronym out of, like, you know, an acronym is just like the first letters of something is like, and then it has a meaning. Well, they just took Amber's name and made a meaning for it. So it stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response System, or alert system. So Amber is a backronym, which is a fun word.
Yeah, we already covered that in the Santa episode.
Oh yeah, Santa. That's right. We made an awesome acronym. I haven't done editing yet. That'll be tonight. So yeah, if the Amber Alert system was around when Amber went missing, who knows if someone could have called in a tip. So it's sad that Amber had to die for this, but thank you, I guess.
I appreciate your sacrifice.
It would have been someone. If it wasn't her, it would have been someone. And
yeah. Well, you know what's even better is how all those fucking kids got shot to death in Uvalde, and now Texas really paved the way by getting rid of all of the guns in America. Really cool how that happened too.
Yeah, that didn't double down, probably, actually. They probably didn't just buy more guns. Let's see, we're safer.
Really nice how people really band together in times of crisis like that.
As of April 2020, 1,029 kids have been saved as a result of the public tip from the Amber Alert system.
How many have not?
Probably a lot more, but they don't advertise that one. They don't advertise
The
that
ratio's
number.
kind of off.
They don't advertise that number. I forget what the number was. I think like 1 in 3 Amber Alerts end up being no tips because the parents just bring them home. Like I think a third of them end up being, and then a lot of them get saved, but then the Amber Alert does nothing for the other ones. It's like not death, but like the cops do something. It's not the tips from the Amber Alert that do something, you know? But I forget, there was no real, that was my first question too. I was like, how many not? I couldn't find the number anywhere. So, but they did have an update in this case on January 13th, 2021. So 2 years ago to the day today, 25 years after her disappearance, they had a press conference. So basically the police released a bunch of evidence from the case, like a detailed timeline of the crime, a map where she was found, a photo of the bike, some more photos of her. The officers say that they still get tips to this day and they want more. So this means it's pretty weak update if they're still asking for tips, if you ask me, but really no closer than they were 25 years ago. But if you remember anything, they insist you call. The way the press conference went, the police think that someone was in the laundromat that day. They're really focusing on the laundromat. They think that someone was undocumented, might have seen something. And they say, if you're scared to come forward because you're an undocumented person, we don't care about your immigration status. Just come forward.
Yeah, I feel like Texas has pulled that one before.
I feel like
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust
Fool me once, Texas.
Can I say, I was involved in a missing persons case.
Oh, were you?
Well, I had to be. I didn't have a choice. But the hardest part of that whole fucking thing was that the cops, anyone, the family members, everyone would ask me, when was the last time you seen him? And I was like, dude, I seen him every day. Like he's outside all the time, whatever. Like I don't pay attention to when I do see him and when I don't. So it really bothers me now after being through that. When I hear about these missing persons case and everything, they're like, anything you remember, anything. And you're like, listen, if you go to that laundromat every fucking day of your life, you're not going to remember who was there each and every day. You're not going to remember on Wednesday at 2:00, there was a guy who had a beard.
I feel like
They just wanted you to say the skin color that they were looking for.
I'm just saying.
Just say he's black.
Did you remember something? Remember.
I agree with you to a point, but this one here was like Amber Hagerman was a huge case at the time.
Right.
It's not the same as the guy who disappeared next door to you with a fucking 4-wheeler into the bush. No one cared.
True.
It didn't get national attention.
But then when you think about it, like when you went to the convenience store the other day, who was in the convenience store?
I didn't go to the convenience store the other day.
But that, like, or the grocery store. Who did you pass in the grocery store the other day?
No,
you don't
I
fucking
agree.
remember
I
because
agree.
unless there was something that like stuck out.
I agree. You feel like they knew where everything was, right? So like if you were in the area where a little kid went missing earlier that afternoon,
you would give as much information as possible.
that's what I mean. You'd have versus like you see the guy walking outside of his house that's different. That's not, maybe it's the same. I feel like I could pull better memories if I knew that I was in that exact spot during that time, because I'd have to come up with an alibi.
With a face like that, yes.
Well, when the cops say that, it really reads like, we don't care that you were stealing something from the 7-Eleven. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just tell us. Like, it's not important right now. Like, that's the same thing with the undocumented. No, you know what I mean? But they can't say, hey, it's all right if you were, walking out of Lowe's with 2 garden hoses you didn't pay for.
We're not going to arrest you today for that. We'll figure out this other thing, but we'll remember.
Yeah, exactly. If you remember something, we also remember stuff, but if you do.
Well, we remember better because we write it down and record. So if you say you're undocumented, I'm not going to come get you today. ICE will get you next month.
Mm-hmm.
They say, don't worry if you're undocumented, just come to see us. They also did the press conference. I found it was funny. They did it near the old ramp, the Winn-Dixie parking lot, where they have the big mural behind her. It's just a little weird of a place to do it, in my opinion.
They better have painted her fucking doing a sick flip on the bike off the ramp.
They call her Arlington's little angel, and it's just her face with like a halo around it.
Fucking lame.
Yeah, it is. They should have done a fucking, you're right. They should have done a spin move her up there.
Yeah, just like flames coming off her tires. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. That would have been wicked. They should add her as a character in like Tony Hawk game.
Oh, that is an excellent fucking tribute.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
She got
Just
wings.
listening to early 2000s ska and doing like fucking grinds as Amber.
All right.
That's some dope shit.
Pro to having children, they bring you random snacks.
There you go.
Just saying.
That looked like a piece of shit.
Fuck.
Okay.
I don't know where they get these snacks.
Okay. Donna was there.
Fucking anything a kid found.
Amber's mom was at the press conference, and she just did the typical thing, like just telling the killer to come forward. She's like, "I'm not going anywhere." So she kind of threatened him, which I liked. She's like, "You better just come forward because I'm not going anywhere." I was like, "That's a good threat," you know. They also said that there's a $10,000 reward if you have any tips, which I find kind of low because when Amber was first missing, it was $75,000 in 1994 money. So like they've knocked down that fucking.
Well, the value of the information has dropped significantly. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of return left on that investment.
The only real thing that they brought forward that was a little bit new is that they started talking about the trace evidence. So they said that's all. Like, we still have the trace evidence, and they alluded to the fact that there's new ways of getting DNA profiles, like better technology nowadays. So they haven't said what the trace evidence is. I'm back to the cum thing because they're saying that it's literally the only physical evidence they have. They're going to send that off to the FBI to get analyzed again, or so maybe get a profile and then do like genetic genealogy. You know how they've been doing solving crimes that way lately. So they may find their killer that way, but that was supposed to be done in February 2021, and I haven't seen any results from that. We're almost 2023 now, so maybe it's just logged back in the system because it's a new technique. Maybe there's so much they're like prioritizing it in ways. I don't know.
You know that I won't do ancestry DNA now because of you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're well aware of that. Like, I really want to know what my heritage is and everything like that, but I'm too afraid that like my dad's gonna suddenly get locked up. So I'm just like, no.
I'm glad
I'm
people
not
listen
participating.
to my fully coherent legal advice.
Nothing else would have compelled me.
That was the one thing that I was pressured hard on. I said, do not. And I think Richard was like, no, you can do it.
Just do it. Don't be a pussy.
No,
Go
don't
get
do it.
go get it.
Don't
Bree.
do
It'll
it.
be fine.
Don't do it.
Yeah, they said by February 2022 they'd be giving the evidence to the FBI lab to get it analyzed. No updates beyond that. But since this is written so far in advance, it will probably come out the day of the anniversary. By the time we put this public, they'll have an update. That's what happens every fucking time. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I can feel the theories coming. Jimmy Kevil, Grandpa Jimmy Kevil, died in 2016 at the age of 98, just so you know. He was a World War II veteran. I'll also give you that. So maybe there's some PTSD in there. Okay, I'll give you that. There have been 5,500 leads cleared between 1996 and 1997. There's been 7,000 leads cleared since then. So those are all the facts of the case, basically. So there's only one real theory, and that's like a stranger took Amber. They think maybe someone was like stalking them at Burger King earlier in the day, or it's that guy that was in the parking lot with obviously it's a guy somebody in the parking lot, but it could have been that guy that at the laundromat or not. But it's just a stranger. Did a killer stalk them? I don't know. It's this whole episode is just the stranger. So is that a probable theory? Just some random that we'll never know until they catch him with DNA. That's theory one.
Nope.
I don't think it's a real stranger. I think I have my own real theory here.
You think it's a fake stranger?
No, I think it's not a stranger at all. Ba, ba, ba. Might not be true. What do you got, Ricky? I'll go through my couple things. What do you got? I know Rick's got something.
Yeah, I don't know. The location of the kidnapping is weird to me. Just out of everywhere to do it. I know they said that there was like an abandoned grocery store, but there was a lot of other things going on, like hustle and bustle in the area, at least for like a small town. If I had to guess, honestly, I think the old man doesn't know what the fuck he saw. Nothing to him. I don't think he did it. But I think someone accidentally ran into the girl with the truck, and there was no like yelling, kicking, or screaming. It was like she died at the scene. He freaked the fuck out, grabbed her, threw her in the truck, left the bike there, and that was that. And some like later
And
dumped
slit
the
her
body.
throat 7 times, slit
Yeah,
her throat 5
yeah.
times. And
I don't know if I buy this like premeditated follow her around and grab her at a random fucking parking lot thing, because it just, the way it sounded, there would have been so many other opportunities before that moment to do it.
I don't think it's premeditated. If it's a stranger, I don't think it's premeditated. I think it's crime of opportunity, like they said. Some guy just saw a little girl by himself and he finally just snapped and did it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, hard to know. And I don't know. I don't. One of two things are in my mind. Either the old man has no idea what the fuck he saw, because like just throwing random things out there, just I don't know. It feels weird. Or he was somehow in on it.
I put him down as a theory. I didn't really write anything down because he's a 78-year-old man.
He's a war vet, and you don't want to. Yeah, I mean he's dead now, so you can talk shit on him all you want.
I don't care. I'll talk shit on war vets that are douchebags, but he doesn't seem like a douchebag. He called 911 right away. You figure if you were the guy, you'd let it cool for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but dude, like 78-year-olds love to call 911.
That's true. That's true. That's true. There's no party going on at 3:00 in the afternoon, so
yeah.
I do have to wait for 6 to get my 911 call in.
Yeah. Do you know what it feels like when your heart goes from 7 to 19 beats per minute? that rush that you feel.
Oh, I got my cognitions back. I can see.
Yeah.
Okay. My cognizance back. Right now we're just with Stranger. Do you have any other theories about the people that we talked about? Anybody else have any ideas? Bree, you got any ideas?
Okay, so my theory, I don't know how great this is, but you said the old man, he's got World War vet, right?
Yeah.
So he's got PTSD. So he just like astro projected himself and basically just called the cops on himself because he's the one who took her and did everything, which is why they couldn't find anything else, because they were at the laundromat for 45 minutes or whatever. But really, that was just him just making shit
Do you think
up.
he ran over there, slit her throat, thinking that was a Chinese soldier, like a Korean soldier?
Well, you see, I don't think he slit her throat right then and there, right?
Okay.
Because if he's a war vet, he's going to take her back and she's going to be a prisoner of war, right? And so they've got to go through the motions. Like there's a whole list of things you got to do before you get to that part.
What I want to know is why is everyone calling this dude Jimmy Kevil? His name is Uri. His middle name is Jimmy. What are we doing here? Letting this guy off the fucking hook. His name is Uri.
His friends call him Grandpa, but apparently Richard does not want to be friends with him.
What do you got, RJ?
All right. So I don't think
before you go.
Okay.
Is this going to be outrageous, and should I just do some ones that are less outrageous first?
Sir, you can't ask me that and ruin my jokes before I tell them.
Okay.
Can I go?
I don't know.
Right.
Okay, I have a couple people I threw up. Film crew. Okay. One of those like filming guys, a little creepy, saw the little girl maybe getting changed one day, and he's like, ooh, and he starts falling around. And then Pam Curry, or maybe it's just Pam Curry for ratings. You know, Pam Curry's like, if we kill this little girl now, our documentary is going to be the saddest documentary ever made. Success.
That's awesome. She's Jake Gyllenhaal from Nightcrawler.
Yeah, exactly. That's my Nightcrawler theory. Is what I wrote.
Yeah. Dude, I love that fucking movie.
So she went and killed the little girl and then hit her and then planted it, like, right, killed the little, like, kidnapped her, and then called her back and went like, Donna, we should film you, you know? And then just like got herself involved in it and then waited 3 days to get a lot of good like angles and camera shit like that. Like good setups. And then this is where the kid is. And then they'll find him eventually, just to set up a good documentary. Pam Curry and Friends, the Nightcrawler theory. What do you think of that?
Love it.
Okay.
Decent.
Yeah.
Okay. Other theory is that Stuart Coker. We got to talk about him. That's the guy that found the body.
Oh,
I have some visual aids that we can show you. This guy's creepy as fuck. This guy that found her, and he might have something to do with it. Just let me share my screen here. There's two clips of this guy that I have.
On a Saturday afternoon, Donna takes her parents, sister, and a friend to the creek where Amber was found. There they meet Stuart Coker, the man who discovered her body. He's haunted at being thrust into their tragedy. He had been walking his dog when he made the gruesome discovery.
I saw Amber's body lying in the water, and I knew what it was right away.
And so you can see it just kind of weaves around like this.
Now, weeks later, Coker is still consumed by the tragedy.
For me, I can't get the vision out of my mind. I can't believe that somebody did something like this. I mean, I come down here and I stand and I cry.
He and his family return again and again to the creek behind their apartment. They walk the banks and rake the creek bottom, a desperate attempt to find evidence and answers.
It was a tragic thing, and unfortunately there's no explanation for any of it.
Stuart Coker never met Amber Hagerman, but somehow he feels he knows her.
She was such a lively young lady, and she certainly was cute. There's no doubt about that. She's a pretty little girl.
Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ. He's the suspect. He's the new suspect.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to see. Yeah, that guy.
Thank you.
Why did they arrest this guy? I was watching this. I'm like, Pam Curry, you let this guy go through the cracks. Here's another clip of this guy later on in the documentary.
Stuart Coker, the man who found her body, relives the crime every day. His family makes pink ribbons for each month there's no arrest,
In the bathroom with
which
lotion.
he considers intolerable.
Nobody should be able to get away with this. And to think that somewhere out there, someone knows this individual and they have not come forward after 6 months.
Yeah, because it's you.
I can't grasp that.
It's you fucking creepy asshole.
Damn
It's
it.
you creepy asshole. I'm sorry.
Holy-
If this guy's been checked out by the police, I'm sorry. Maybe you have an
What's
alibi.
this dude's name?
Stuart Coker. Kocher. Kocher.
Okay, because like my mom was involved with like finding a dead body and stuff like that. She never fucking went back to the scene
Yeah, visits it every day.
to be like, I wonder if there's more shit.
Oh yeah, he's raking to find evidence, not to fucking make sure that nobody ever finds his.
Yeah,
Like
Cover
she
up
was like, I want to stay as far
Jesus
away from that place as
Christ.
possible. And I was like, you know what? I get it.
She was a lively girl, so cute. Like, what the fuck, dude? I go back there every day and cry because you killed a little girl, you psycho.
Right.
Yeah, that's gross.
Legit. If this guy got checked out and his alibis are good, let's recheck his alibis. That's all I'm saying. Let's
Right.
go back and recircle around
about
on
the
fucking
samples?
Stuart Coker.
For every child murder ever.
Right.
Exactly. That
He's prime suspect for all of them.
and the weird look on his face when he was doing it too, when he was like, she was a cute little girl and I'm creepy. Like, I get it, dude. Like,
But like, here's my thing though. You think the police talk to this guy and they're like, oh no, he drives a blue truck or something, and they just immediately believe the 78-year-old war vet, and it was just
I
like,
agree.
if it didn't match the evidence,
Well,
it was not there.
His brother was probably the fucking comptroller or something stupid like that.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
circle around. I'm just saying, police, if you're listening to this, you got to circle around to that guy just to make sure, because I know police are corrupt as fuck. And you could be right, RJ. He's related to like, he has a cowboy hat. He hangs out at the cop bar. Who the fuck knows, right?
Yeah.
So that's my theory, is actually that guy. And nobody's looked into him enough. And just by the fucking, 30 seconds of footage that I saw of this guy, I'm convinced. I could be wrong though.
What was really weird was when he started talking about her, he was doing like, I don't know if you saw like the chin thrust. That's usually like now I don't know if he has like a tick, but that's normally like a sign of aggressive anger.
Oh damn, Rick is mentalisting him. Nice.
I'm just saying, you can't see a lot when he talks. You can't see him a lot of it, but if you watch him, he like does the chin thrust at the end there.
You're not wrong.
Awesome.
But those are my two theories. Those are the three theories.
Okay.
So that's it for me.
That's a good fucking theory.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I believe fully that guy did it.
All right. So we're not going to go
Unless
I like that.
Yes.
Unless, of course, I'm correct, and as I look at these pictures of Amber's face, I notice that the description of her physical features seems off. Like I see that face, and I'm like, oh, that's connected to like a 6'4", 6'5" body, $175, 200, and I think that Amber was not the victim. I think that she was doing sweet tricks on that ramp, and just fucking tearing it up. And some little shit heel from the laundromat started ragging on her, saying like, "Oh, you're bum, you suck." And she's like, "What the fuck did you say?" And just zoomed her bike over to him and threw herself off of it, and back threw herself with her elbow into his truck, and then drove away with that guy. And honestly, circumstantially, he got her after 2 days of being tortured. He was able to finally take her down in self-defense.
So this is just a case of self-defense. Okay.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You can't look at that face and tell me that's not a powerhouse of an individual.
Aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Stuart Coker can come forward and admit that he did it, because we all know it's self-defense.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Right. She was an aggressive little girl. What are you going to do? She's got anger issues.
He doesn't know. And that's why all those notes are for him. They're like, just if you remember remember anything, like, don't worry, it'll be fine. And he's like, no, it won't be. I can't. So he goes back there every day because he's like, this is where I earned my freedom.
So he has PTSD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm gonna say dealer's choice on this. Bree, you're the one who's paying. Where's the money, Bree? Before you
Okay, so this is a version of a gold doubloon.
Oh, you bitch. Fuck it. We got fooled by that again. It's my fault, guys. You guys
is that
gotta
one of the
negotiate.
snacks your kid was hiding in his diapers and delivered to you?
Yeah.
Is that a piss chocolate?
Oh,
We've been paid in worse. Yeah, I think.
It's nutty. It's nutty. Try one, RJ. It's good.
I'm good, thank you. I'll watch it come out through my legs later.
RJ, can you just put that douche flute back in your mouth just one more time for me?
No, I'm good. I don't do anything. I don't do what I'm told. You don't get to be the coolest kid on the playground by following rules.
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.
Hey there, all you private dickheads. That's probably not the name we're gonna stick with. Anyways, RJ here. I am here to tell you thank you for listening to another episode of Private Dicks. If you liked what you heard, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere they take your reviews, drop us 5 stars, say something nice. Also, what you just heard was from last season. If you want current episodes as they're dropped, head on over to patreon.com and search up Unethical Podcast. That's our mother podcast. I was not aware Private Dicks was a spin-off. I'm going to renegotiate my contract. On Patreon is a full 16-episode season, more of Private Dicks, uncut videos of each episode, and many more things are getting added all the time. You can also find all of Unethical's content on there, so go listen to that. And if you're already a patron, fuck yeah, dude. You're the best.